That's the way to start the day. Started out doing a time lapse on the front porch, decided that just wasn't quite enough. So I pulled out the Phantom 3 and we took it up. It was beautiful out there. It was really windy though, and I was surprised just how well the Phantom did. I've only taken it out probably a half dozen times, maybe a few more, but the wind was whipping and the Phantom solid as a rock. I thought it actually didn't do quite as well in the wind as it did, but it blew me away. But I gotta have some breakfast and get a shower because I gotta go to work. All right, I'm showered, I'm clean, I'm dressed and ready to go. This is just a beautiful day out here. And I'm gonna go get in the car and drive for a while. You know what? I'm standing in the exact same spot, but it's several hours later. I've gone ahead and gone into work and just skipped through all of that because same old, same old. Didn't wanna have the camera out while I was driving. Still, beautiful day out here. I'm absolutely dying to get the drone out and go fly it somewhere. I've just got to find a good place to take it. Maybe a park or something. But for now, it's time for a little bit of lunch. When I went out to the store last night, Christina had me pick up some sushi, and I picked this up. And you see it says chicken on there. I picked it up because I thought it sounded interesting. She apparently didn't find it so interesting. So when I was out today, I actually stopped by and picked up another one, crunchy roll with shrimp. So she'll like that one, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and try this for lunch. So I guess let's see how this is. This is a big old bite. I actually like that a lot. It's a really weird mix, but you definitely get the taste of chicken in there. That's actually really good. A couple of hours and perhaps a short nap later, we're back. The sushi was quite tasty, thank you for asking. And to go ahead and address today's SSS Veda topic, because I think I forgot to address it earlier, this will be a nice, relatively quick one. It says, tell us about your family. I've been doing these daily vlogs for over 240 days now. That's over 8 months now. So you've, over that time, gotten to see a lot about my family. So feel free to peruse through the back playlist. There is a playlist of all of them out there. During that time, you'll get to see my newest son being born. You get to see a lot about Duncan, my older son, and all the sports that he plays and how interested in video games he is and how outgoing and funny and quirky he is. You get to see quite a little bit about my wife, Christina. Probably not as much as I should be showing, but she just doesn't get on camera all that often. And during that time, you actually see a lot of extended family as well. You get to see my parents who come in to see the kids relatively often. We go there occasionally as well. You get to see Christina's parents, sometimes our grandparents. Unfortunately, we're not as close to our families as we'd probably like to be because we live in a place where my parents are a few hours one way, Christina's parents are a few hours the other way, so we cannot be physically close to either one of them just because we kind of want to be fair to both of them. I'd actually suggested to Christina a bunch of times in the past that we should move somewhere else so that we're not so torn and in the middle and everything. But for the most part, we're just Kentucky people, so we'll probably be here from now on. That's not to say that I wouldn't entertain offers in other places. I've definitely done that, and nothing's come up that's flipped enough switches yet that has gotten all of us convinced to move. But anyway, like I was saying, if you want to know more about me and my family, always check through the playlist. There are loads and loads of daily vlogs out there. This is a large part of why I love where I live, because I left this out here for like an hour. It's still out here. Yeah, that's just like 2 solid minutes of beautiful time-lapse footage because I chose to put it out there just at random. Hooray, we're all home. She stole a boy from me.
I took him. He's mine.
I'm making her try the chicken sushi. I ate, like, that thing was full and I ate a little over half, so I liked it a lot. It's got some spicy stuff, it's got some crunchy stuff, some chicken. Kind of like the chicken you get in a salad.
It's just kind of weird. It's not bad.
I kind of expected her to say, it's gross and spit it out, but good. And we're on the road. If you're new to the channel, you may not be aware, Mondays Duncan has to go to soccer, Mondays and Wednesdays. So we're taking him to soccer practice. Well, I dropped Duncan off actually a few minutes early, made sure he knew where his bottle of water was, and I am about to go make potentially a pretty big mistake. Yes, potential mistakes were just made. I just spent money in an Apple store, and I bought ice cream. I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for it because I've been mostly Android for the last lots and lots of years. But the funny thing is, I started out my smartphone journey on an iPhone, so it only makes sense at some point to come back and check out the whole iPhone scene again. So I picked up the 16 gig iPhone SE. I figure I'll do an unboxing video of it, I'll do some camera samples, and if I don't absolutely love it, I've got 2 weeks to take it back. If I do love it, this is the 16 gig model, I can always upgrade to the 64 gig. Like I said, 2-week return policy, no questions asked, as long as it's not damaged. They were super friendly and easy to work with in there. I literally said, I'm interested in this, and within a minute, they had somebody delivering it to the front while the person was still talking to me without actually actually like taking the time out to call back and say, please deliver one of these to the front. So efficient. I mean, I actually remarked in the middle of my working with them, wow, that was really efficient. Because I'm so used to other stores where they have to, oh, we'll go back and check in the back, we'll see if it's there, or they've got them out on the shelves in a giant mess and everything. No, this was quick and easy. And I spent a little more than a little bit of time in the store with it. It's now 6:20, so I've been gone for like 15 minutes from Dunkin'. So I spent a bit of time just messing around with it, checking out the camera, checking out the way the apps run and everything, and it all flowed so smooth. The biggest problem is going to be the front-facing camera, and again, only 16 gigs of storage, but we'll see about that. And the vlog up to this point has been edited. Duncan's over there on the soccer field practicing and learning and playing and basically enjoying it. We had the sort of fun conversation on the way over here as to who's having a more fun time, as it were, sarcastically. Because I think I've mentioned before, he doesn't really want to play soccer anymore. He doesn't want to have to drive this far out of the way to play soccer twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever. And at the same time, I don't really want to drive this far out of the way to bring him to something that he doesn't necessarily want to do. I don't want to force him to do it. But the fact of the matter is, this is something we had to pay for. We had to pay a pretty decent amount of money to get him on this team, and we can't get a refund on it at this point. You had to pay for 2 seasons at a time, and we did. So it's basically either he plays it for another month and then he's done, and he gets exercise during that time, he learns a lot about soccer, or he quits entirely and then they're down a player and we've wasted a decent amount of money. The decision was made that he is playing, and he does enjoy it. He does still have fun. I mean, I'm watching him out there right now, and he is running, he's playing, he's doing really well. He enjoys it while he's here. He just doesn't like losing the entire evening several nights a week when he's been in school and he's tired. Luckily, he's on spring break this week, so it actually shouldn't be a big deal at all. And I'll admit it, there's a part of me that's really, really tempted to go ahead and do the unboxing of the iPhone SE. I mean, there's a million and 12 other ones on YouTube, so there's no reason why mine needs to be sitting in my house in beautiful lighting, blah, blah, blah. The funny thing is, I sat here thinking about it, and it's like, a while back, when I was working for a company called Lexmark, the Nexus 5 came out. Not the 5X, the original Nexus 5, like 2013. And I picked it up from UPS because it was shipped, and I had it stopped and picked it up at the UPS location. I went out to my car outside of the UPS location and made a video about it, unboxing it, and talking about it. And that video's gotten thousands of views, not tens or hundreds of thousands or anything, but thousands of views still. And it turned out about as well as it can be expected. And I think it actually had no cuts, no edits. So you can see me actually hitting the button to stop the camera at the end. Not to say that I would want to do that, but basically I could do that kind of thing because I've already captured a couple of clips walking into the Apple store and then walking out with the bag. I could technically use something like Adobe Clip and then put everything together on the phone and do the entire edit on a Galaxy S7. That would be really amusing. That's the weird thing. Just in a couple of years' time, 2.5 years' time, you can now fully edit 4K video on a phone. Whereas back in 2013, I'm sure it was sort of feasible, but not entirely that feasible. Not 4K, definitely, but 1080p, not 1080p 60 would have been possible, but it would have been rough. Soccer completed. Did you have fun, Duncan? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, it was okay. And he got in the car and immediately said, "Are there places to eat on the way home?" I said, "Yeah, there's a few fast food places." So he wants me to stop at McDonald's and get him a little snack. We already had dinner, but yeah. And we've made it home, and it's very red in here. And Duncan's already gravitated to his games, and Ellis is being a boy, and looks like he's asleep.
He's not asleep.
He's not asleep. He's up. Hello there. You gonna say hi? No, no cameras. I gotta say, I was more than a little bit bummed out earlier. I missed just an absolutely beautiful sunset. When I got home, as fast as I could, I got outside with the drone, and I could not get it to take off quickly enough. It was cold outside, the wind was blowing, so it was nice and warm in here, but as soon as I got it outside, the drone freaked out because of the massive temperature change. So it just immediately said, I have to warm up, I have to warm up. So I missed out on it, a large part because of that, and partially because I stopped to get gas, and I stopped to get food for Duncan, and just the drive home. Oh well, there's always tomorrow, and that's the good thing. I'm getting more practice with it. I'm learning the limitations of it. It was quite windy out there, and you can see from that footage, there was no problem with that wind. So I'm more and more pleased with this thing every day. At $500, actually, I think last I checked, it was like $470 or $460. Yeah, the Phantom 3 Standard is still an amazing quadcopter. I still really want the Phantom 4, but I cannot justify paying $1,400 for that. Well, I did it. Unboxing complete, setup mostly complete. I've actually got the majority of my apps back on here already. I've got Touch ID set up and working. It's not uber duper fast, Touch ID part isn't, but I've got YouTube, I've got Gmail. I don't have all my Gmail accounts on there. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Google+, Periscope, and I can now actually use Beam. I've had a Beam account forever because I had an iPad, but I couldn't put anything on there because iPad doesn't have the sensor to allow you to actually post. I can actually use Beam now. The weird thing is, for whatever reason, the unboxing video for this turned out to be like 22 minutes. It's long enough that the G7 actually said, "You've been recording for too long, we're stopping now," and I had to start over again. So that's loads of fun. But I've got some really good ideas for a couple of videos to do with this. Looks like there's already a software update, version 9.3.1. We'll go ahead and run the update and see what it does, I suppose. The worst case scenario, it bricks it and I take it right back to the store tomorrow. And if you couldn't tell from the lighting in here and maybe the little bit of a sound you're hearing in the background, Christina has headed to bed, Duncan's been in bed for a while, and Ellis is hanging out sleeping beside me. He's not due to have his bottle until midnight, so I've got about an hour and a half until then. So I'm gonna sit here, finish up the vlog, get to working on this unboxing video because I've already tackled the syncing and the intro and everything. Hopefully this turns out okay. I did leave a little section in at the end basically saying, please don't unsubscribe from my channel because I'm trying out an Apple product. As a tech reviewer, I have to explore all the different sides of technology, and an inexpensive iPhone is one of those sides of technology. I'm not switching, I'm just trying everything. Hopefully I don't end up losing tens of thousands of subscribers over it, but I would not be surprised in the slightest. But anyway, as I was starting to try to say there, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up for today. Again, if you're from the SSS Veda crowd, hopefully you got to see a little bit of the family in there. Mondays we do not get to see a whole lot of the family, unfortunately. Between taking Duncan to soccer and losing the entire evening as a result of that, we just don't get a whole lot of family time. So feel free to stick around and watch more of the vlogs. There's gonna be a lot more family times upcoming. And other than that, thank you as always for watching. Thank you for spending the day with me. We'll see you tomorrow.